Literally, that is the saddest thing ever. We trust Arvo. Arvo's a nice guy. No, he ain't. Literally shoots Clem.
Lee?
It's just a bad dream, sweet pea.
Oh God. I would be so.
What was it about?
Oh my God, there's Ben. He's out.
Duck?
He's bit.
We don't know how this works yet. Maybe it's like a cold. His mom's a doctor. Maybe she can help him.
It's not like a cold.
No, it's probably not.
I miss Lee.
I feel bad.
Why?
I called him a crybaby when I hid the bug in his pillow.
Oh, that's okay, honey. You didn't mean it.
It's still funny.
Lee,
Oh my God.
why did Lily do that to Carly?
I don't know. She was sad, Clem. That can make people angry sometimes.
Have you ever been that angry?
I could see Clem asking that.
One time. Clem, people don't always make sense.
How come?
Because bad things happen to everyone. And it's hard to keep being yourself after they do. Do you think we should have let Lily stay?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It wasn't easy. I don't know if we did the right thing.
How can you tell?
Well, it's not like math, Clem. Sometimes there just isn't the right answer.
I hate math.
Me too, sweet pea. But part of growing up is doing what's best for the people you care about. Even if sometimes that means hurting someone else.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
It's not that easy.
I'm scared, Lee.
What can I tell you to make it better?
That it'll be okay.
It will. It's gonna get better, Clem. You'll make it better. Everything's gonna be all right.
I hate not seeing the interactions between these two anymore. This is a nice touch by Telltale, I gotta tell you.
Now let's try to get some sleep.
Okay, Lee.
It makes me wonder if this was cut stuff out of the original game where they were just gonna have Clementine say stuff with Lee just standing there and you're the one answering it the whole time. Either way, this is really nice. I like the touch. Although I'm pretty sure I would have killed Arvo after he shot Clementine. I'm just saying, if that was Lee sitting next to them and Kenny ran out first, gun be out.
Slow down!
Shut up!
I'm alive! Look, Clem's alive!
She's awake. Hey, you.
Clem! Oh, thank God!
You passed out from the shock.
What happened?
That piece of shit Rusky shot you.
We had to run the truck to keep you warm. How do you feel?
It hurts.
Couldn't find the bullet. Must have gone clean through. It'll burn a while, but you'll be fine.
Those sons of bitches. I mean, I expected it from the Russian. But Mike? I could tell they were working on something.
I didn't think they'd go that far.
Yeah, well, who would steal our food and shoot a kid? We never should have thrown in with trash like that in the first place.
Is Bonnie okay?
They took off on foot.
Didn't get this puppy thanks to you.
Now that Clem's awake, we should talk about where we're going.
We're headed north.
What, to find Wellington?
You sure talk a lot of shit, but you got a better plan?
We head south, back to House.
Carver's camp? The fuck kind of plan is that?
I think Bonnie said there was more formula back there. And we actually know where it is.
And it was overrun by a damn herd.
Wellington's out there. We have to keep looking, Jane.
Clem, you can't be falling for this.
She made up her mind, Jane.
Clem, please. This is suicide.
Why don't you let her think for herself for once?
Why don't you?
Me?
Look, even if there is someplace up here, it could take us weeks to find it. We could get back to House in a day.
Tell you what, we can turn around just as soon as you pry this wheel from my cold, dead fingers. How's that sound?
Whatever. I give up.
Get your feet off the dash.
Let's play a game, Clem. I spy with my little eye an asshole. Your turn.
Grow up.
Go to hell.
I'll pull this fucking car over.
Go ahead.
You want to die out here?
You're both being children.
Me? I couldn't see the damn road.
Bet you're having trouble seeing a lot of things these days.
You shut your fucking mouth. I am done playing games with you, Jane.
Fuck you. You don't know a damn thing about me.
Oh, I know exactly what you are. Nothing. Nobody cares about you. And you don't care about nobody but yourself. That makes you nothing.
What is it with you? It's your family, right?
Don't.
It is, isn't it?
I'm warning you, you little shit.
You're just another type A asshole trying to save a bunch of dead people.
This isn't the time for this.
No, this is exactly the time for this.
Jane,
You
I'd
listen
leave
to
him
me.
alone.
You mouth off about my family, and I will fucking end you.
Jesus Christ, I'm so sick of this wounded warrior crap. Just pull over. I can't take this.
What? Running away again? What a fucking shocker. In the end, still only care about yourself, right?
And where were you when Sarita got bit, Kenny? Huh? Where were you?
I was there. I couldn't. God damn you, I love that woman!
Nobody who died is anyone's fault. We all wanted to be together and it just went bad. But we owe it to them to try to make the best of this.
I'm sorry, Clem, but I can't put up with this bullshit anymore.
Oh, the feeling's mutual.
You know the thing about people like you, Kenny? You're just a bomb waiting to go off. Everyone talks about you behind your back because they're afraid of you.
That ain't true.
Mike, Bonnie, Sarita,
Fucking liar, that ain't true!
everyone around you knows that sooner or later, they're gonna end up dead. Sarita knew it, I know it, and so does Clementine.
Jesus.
Not to talk about my family!
Fuck you!
You fucking piece of shit!
Go to hell, you son of a bitch!
Jesus!
360-degree stop.
You okay?
I'm fine.
How's AJ?
He's fine.
You sure?
Yes.
Clem, you alright?
Yeah.
Kenny, I'm...
Wait, hold on.
Go around.
One of them might have diesel.
We shouldn't stop here.
We're running on fumes. Got no choice. When I holler it's okay, drive up closer. Anything happens, I'll try to meet you there. Alright?
If you're going, go now.
Kenny.
On the road again.
Fucking asshole. God! I can't do this anymore. I'm serious, Clem. I tried, but I just can't.
Stop making him mad.
Everything makes him mad. How are you not seeing that?
Well, all you're doing is just making it worse.
You're just like him. Clem, we could leave. Right now.
Are you serious? What about AJ?
Look, I know you're close to him, but Kenny would never let him go. This is our chance, Clem. Don't you ever want to know what it's like to live your own life?
It's snowing. Why are they moving?
They must not be cold enough yet. Fuck!
You're pretty cold, I can see.
Get us out of here!
I don't know how to drive.
See that pedal on the floor? Step on it! Don't just sit there!
Whee! Gonna drive a truck! Whee!
Jesus!
Oh god. How you feeling, cuz?
Oh, get out of there! The door is stuck! Shit! Shit! There are more of them! Move! Clem!
Okay.
Clem, hurry! Get out! Hurry! Jane!
On the road again. Hi, you little bastard. Oh, bad walker.
Jane!
Well, I hear AJ crying, but I don't know what to do with that. Damn. Ooh. Nice good stretch. Look at this. Traveling through the snow, middle of the goddamn woods. It's gonna be traveling. If I just walk between them, they don't get me. Aha, I snuck by. I think is that the only time I have to walk through them before I make it to the rest area? I could be wrong, but I might be right. I know there's one over here. Not seeing one. Though they do keep the option open to fire your weapon, because they know you can run into one. Nah, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. No, we're good. We're good. Am I the only one slightly concerned that she has a hole in her frickin' arm and nobody bandaged it or used something to bandage it with? Okay, let's walk her there. I'm trying to see. It's kind of hard to see in front of you. I don't see one here. Looks like we're in the clear. I think it's because when you do this, I think you have a limited amount of ammunition inside the handgun, so if you do go through so many walkers, I think eventually you just run out. So that's the other reason why they try to make it to where you have to walk through them. Because eventually you'll run out of ammo, and if you run out of ammo, you're screwed. Alright, I'm just gonna have Clem walk there on her own. Look at this rest stop. Yeah, you can definitely tell you're somewhere. Look at this. Hours, sunrise to, does that say sunset? That's respectable. Although sunrise to sunset's pretty variable. I figured most of these rest stops are pretty much all automated. That's a
Jane?
lot of blood.
Kenny!
You alright?
Yeah,
Where is he? Where's the kid?
he's with her.
You left him with her?
Kenny?
Jane? Jane!
Wait,
Oh, thank Christ. Jane, you okay? Where's the kid? Jane, where is he?
where is he? He's...
What are you saying? No. No!
No, not again. Not again.
Clem, look at me. No matter what happens, just stay out of it. Okay? Just trust me, Clem.
Stay out of what?
You have to trust me. You're gonna see what he really is.
What are you talking about?
Kenny, calm Don't do anything stupid.
Get out of my way.
Kenny?
How could you kill a fucking child?
I didn't kill him! It was an accident, Kenny!
I won't back down from you, Kenny.
Shut up!
We can't kill each other. Not after all this. We're all that's left.
Stay out of this, Clem.
Clem, stay back. Don't you come near me, you son of a bitch.
Kenny! Get the fuck off!
Fuck you!
Stop! Please! Let... Jane! Oh my god! This is all your fucking fault!
Piece of shit!
What are you doing?
Go!
I ain't going nowhere.
Just get between them, Clem. That'll be the best way to stop them.
Fucking psycho!
This is on...
Run!
Not happening.
Please.
Move.
fucking kill you!
Could you just stop?
Listen to me!
Get her! Fucking baby killer!
God damn it!
Jesus.
I'll fucking kill you!
I knew you would!
Let you! Fucking...
Please!
Can't kill Kenny. I can't kill Kenny. I like him too much.
AJ... He's gone, Clem. She just... How could she do that? Oh, Jesus. He's gone.
You didn't have to kill her, Kenny!
I'm sorry, darling. But I did. Go! I'm right behind you.
Jesus, she leaves him in a car nearby.
Oh my god, AJ! Oh my god. Are you okay?
He looks pissed.
He's alive.
AJ, let me see him. I thought we lost you, buddy. I won't let you out of my sights again.
I can't believe he's alive.
It's a miracle. I thought he was gone for good. I thought she'd taken him from us.
Why would she?
She was nuts, Clem. A disturbed person that had her own agenda and was looking out for herself. Shh. It's all right, buddy. Hey, listen, I didn't want that to happen either. I thought she'd killed Alvy, Clem, and at any point she could have stopped what was happening by saying he was fine. She wanted a fight. I'd never, ever hurt you. You understand? I was protecting you. You believe me, right? Just imagining what she did to Alvy.
I believe you.
Okay. Thanks. Come on. Let's put some miles between us and this place.
They're literally just gonna leave her there with a knife through her heart. Jesus, Kenny. You even stab her in the head, she's gonna come back as a walker. Nine days later, okay. Oh, Clem looks fine. And she still has that bullet hole.
It's just a little further. We're almost there.
I sure hope that's a cook fire. Oh, we could use a hot meal right about now. Might be all I need. Come on, I'll race you to the top.
Hey!
Kenny seems like in a much better mood now.
Come on, Alvy, we got this.
You cheated.
Oh my god. Nice.
Holy shit.
Nice.
We did it, Clem. That's gotta be it.
It's about time.
You were telling me. What are we waiting for? Come on. This one's gonna be the one. Look at those walls. Finally feel safe, Clem. Be able to sleep at night.
Okay.
That's far enough.
Just stay still, Clem. Do as she says. Put your hands up, Clem.
First she can even lift it.
Drop your weapons. Approach the gate.
I like how they don't even question the fact that
couple of people
only
at the
Clem
front
has
gate.
the gun.
They don't look like trouble.
Sounds good. Hi, I'm Edith.
Name's Kenny. And this here's Clementine.
Hello. Oh, what a handsome boy. Look at him. What's his name?
Alvin. Jr.
Oh, he's gonna be a little heartbreaker when he grows up.
Is there someone named Christa in there?
I don't think so, dear.
Oh. That means we lost
So,
Krista.
this is Wellington, right?
A lot of people call it that.
Okay. So, what do we do to get in?
Well, I'm afraid this is the part where I give you the bad news.
Wait, what? Oh, you're dicks.
The hell's this?
That's some supplies. Food, water,
What?
some medicine, a first aid
Why are
kit.
you giving us this?
Unfortunately, our community isn't accepting new members. We're over capacity as it is, and there's just not enough to go around if we keep bringing people in. Things might change in
You
a few
gotta be
months.
fucking kidding me.
I'm sorry. I really am.
But we have a baby.
This is hard for me too. I don't want to turn anyone away, especially children. But
Just take the kids.
What?
Please. Just take the kids. It's too dangerous out here for them.
Kenny,
It's just a little girl and a baby boy. You can make room for that. You can take back the supplies you gave us if that helps. Please, just... I need them to be safe. And it's safe in there. I know that. Just ask someone, please. They won't make it out here. Please.
I'll ask. Just give me a second.
You don't don't need to look at me like that.
We're not staying here without you.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are! It's safe here. You two will be safe. That's what's important now.
We can take the children, but just the children. I made the case that...
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, okay? Listen. This is your chance. For you and this boy. I don't trust myself to keep you two safe. Not anymore. Please, I'm begging you. Please, stay here. Stay here where it's safe. Where you two will have a chance.
No, no, no! Why are you doing this?
Because it's the only way. For both of you. Think about Alvy here. Please, Clem. Just do as I'm asking. This one last time. You'll meet people. You'll make friends. People better than me. Good people. That don't have to look at you and feel ashamed at what they put you through.
No! We're leaving! All of us! Together!
Clem, please. It's safe here. You need to think
Stop.
about the...
Stop! Okay? We're not staying, so just stop! That's that.
Sounds like she means business.
Yeah, it does.
Come on. We're leaving.
I'm only supposed to give out one per group, but look, if you're in the area, check back in a few months. We might be accepting people then.
Thank you for the help. And, sorry for the language.
Well, it's a shitty situation. We're all doing the best we can. You all stay safe out there.
What is wrong with her nose? Why does the textures look broken?
You're as stubborn as a damn mule.
Yeah? Wonder where I got that from.
Oh, that's why I choose Kenny every time. Oh god, I wonder what the percentages are going to be. Jesus, it's going to be bad. So, oh my god. How is that percentage that low? I remember when I played it before, it was like 90-something%. Wow, people really must have hated him. Want to help Luke. You and 33%. Wow, really only a third of players tried to help Luke. Wow. The other percentage must all have been people who chose not to help him because they wanted to see if there was a different ending. I actually do remember this game when I first played it, and I think whenever this decision came up, I think I did help Luke the first time, but I tried not helping him after that originally, because I was hoping maybe there was a way to save him, but you lose Luke no matter what. If you don't save him, he ends up drowning instead of like dying to help Clem. And just for reasons, I chose to try to help him this time around, which is what I decided with. Asked to leave with Mike. Over 80% players didn't ask to leave with Mike. Okay. Shot Kenny. You and 49.1% of players didn't shoot Kenny. Wow. The percentage used to be a lot different. I remember when it was really low, where people almost barely anybody did this, and then the percentages were even lower for this. I think before, when it came to Kenny, I think people had it down to like 30 or 20-something%, and then those who chose to stay with Kenny, I think was like somewhere in the teens, if not single digits, for if they stayed with him. Let's go ahead and continue. Alright, so with that, that is the ending of Season 2 of The Walking Dead. So, I'm going to do a similar thing as I did last time. I'll rate the episodes for what I feel like was the best, or like what episodes I really enjoyed over the other ones. Um, so if we actually go back, and we go back to selecting different episodes, um, I would say between all of them, episode 1's not that bad. I will say that I really do enjoy the shock value of getting into the game with Omid and Christa, and then unfortunately losing Omid so early. It really puts the shock value into this game again, where it's like none of the characters are guaranteed to survive. Like, we went through all of those episode 3, episode 4 trying to save Omid, and then episode 5 of season 1 ends up with us trusting both those two to take care of Clem. And unfortunately, while Omid's trying to save Clem because the person has a gun on her, he unfortunately gets shot and killed. Krista kills the woman, and from what you can tell is Krista unfortunately must have miscarried or something, because the baby does not survive, and you don't see anything with them. So the only things I can think of is, one, she had a miscarriage, and unfortunately the baby died, or two, she did give birth to the baby, and something went on and they lost him. That's the only two things I can think of. I'm also going to go ahead and just turn the music off on this, because it's going to keep playing music while that's going on. Let me see it real quick. Music. All the way down. I'll turn it back up next time I play. But as I was saying, it's a nice episode. It's a nice introduction for what you're going to get into, because that, you see a new group of people when you meet, well, actually, no, I'm not going to skip that far yet. I also like the fact that, like, Clem gets lost in the river, stuff like that. You have an option to burn a lot of her old photos and stuff. The one depressing thing that I will say is the fact that you don't see those photos anymore when you go towards the end. I wish we could have seen, like, the photo of Lee or something again. That'd been kind of cool to go back and grab. The fact they kill Krista off, because the assumption is she either dies there, or she got wounded, or she's off somewhere else surviving. Maybe she died then. We don't know what happens to Krista. The only thing we know is her, as far as the game's concerned, is I think she actually is killed. So I think that's the way they went with it, which is she's not alive. Because we did hear something happen when we hear a gunshot go off, and we hear her make a noise. So it's obvious she might have gotten shot and killed, which is unfortunate. And then you get to the river, you get thrown off. The thing with the dog, that was not something I was expecting when I originally played it. I never even considered it like, oh look, a nice little puppy, and then the puppy gets mad, because you might sit there and say, well, why is the puppy going to attack Clem? One, it's starving. Two, it doesn't even know her, so it sees that she's friendly, but it has no connection with her. So when it goes, it goes. The fact you have an option, and it kind of makes it into a thing where, like a lot of the other Walking Dead series, which is, if there's a bite, is it actually a walker, or was it another animal, which is something that can pop up. The one thing I don't remember if I made mention of that I don't agree with is the fact that Carlos is supposedly a freaking doctor, and he can't tell the difference between a walker bite and a dog bite. There is going to be clear differences between the two. Like, if you see the walker bite on Lee, it's on that one little spot, and it's in that nice little semicircle. Like, you can sit there and see, obviously, it was like, that's how wide it is. The dog bite was freaking wide as hell. You can tell the difference. So it makes me really curious to know if maybe Carlos really wasn't a doctor, or if maybe he was just somebody who had medical experience, and they just claimed him to be a doctor out of their group, because the fact that he can't tell the difference is very concerning to me. Or the fact that he lied because Clem saw Sarah and stuff. So it makes me wonder how much he was telling the truth, or maybe he didn't trust Clem all the way, and maybe it had an impact on his decision. Having her go inside the place, get all the loot and stuff was pretty cool too. I like the fact they introduced that. Her taking care of herself by fixing her own arm. And because it makes you really start caring for Clem, because it's like, she can get hurt. She has to be able to help herself. Krista did show her how to help herself if she ever got, a severe cut or something like that happens, and it seems like she did a great job. So Krista taught her well. The thing with Pete and Nick was actually another nice thing I liked. Because if you don't, as I said, I think I made mention, if you don't help Pete, he ends up getting killed by a walker, and you're with Nick in some shed. And nothing really and I think Nick gets saved anyway, so it doesn't matter. So he's perfectly fine, because he never got bit, so he's 100% functionality. Pete, on the other hand, is not, so I always usually pick Pete, just because I feel like I think it's something that would be rather chosen, which is at the time when you go to follow him, he's still just gotten bit. And if he would have cut it off, he probably could have survived, but I don't know. The other thing is a lot of the characters we get introduced to are really cool. I don't know too much about Carlos. I don't trust him 100%. Sarah's really freaking weird. I don't know why Carlos treats her like that. Like, I get you want to protect her from all the evils of the world, but she has to grow up at some point, and you have to teach her stuff, because as we've seen in the later episodes, especially at the end of 3 and at 4, she dies because she doesn't have that safety switch in her head going off to try to stay alive. She doesn't know how to. And because Carlos never taught her, she's easily going to get killed. Other things. I like Alvin. Alvin's really cool. He's a nice guy. Rebecca comes kind of off as a bitch, because the way she's acting, like the way she speaks to Clem, she doesn't trust her or anything. But I get why she does. She's very hesitant, very untrustworthy, mainly because of Carver, so she doesn't trust anybody outside of her group that escaped. Luke's a nice guy. I like his character, but he's kind of naive with certain things. I think Nick kind of falls into the same places like Rebecca. Like, he's a really smug asshole. But during episodes 2 and 3, you actually get to talk to him a little bit, and he's actually not that bad of a guy. Besides that, who else is in the group? Pete, I think that's everybody. So, and overall, I do like the ending with everything going on. So, if I had to rate this episode by itself, for the shock value alone of Omid and Christa both dying, that's sad. It's a pretty good episode. It started strong. The new game mechanics, how everything kind of works with clicking stuff, I'm not a huge fan of it, so I don't know if that's the way I would have did it, but they did it anyway, so it was something different. It's slightly better than Season 1. Season 1 with the scroll wheel was a bit of a bitch. The only thing I don't like is some of the things, especially movement. I'll probably get to later episodes, which is I have to run away from a certain walker at one point. I couldn't hold A before it starts saying it. I had to do it right when the thing starts, which screws me. Pissed me off, and I ended up dying because of it. But if I had to rate this episode, I'd give it a solid... I don't think it's as good as Lee's. I would give it an 8. I'd give it 1 point less. The things that take away from it is the fact that... I just didn't like where the story went. I wish... And I think that's more of a personal opinion. If I had to rate the entire thing, the fact that Pete gets bit, it's kind of stupid. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would easily get bit. The fact that we kind of get thrown into like the UI system and all the movement stuff, but you don't get like enough time to get comfortable with it like you do here, which is another thing I'm not a big fan of. I wish they would have gave us sort of like Season 1. It gives us like it's not a big tutorial, but it's kind of like you get an idea of how to do different things. This one, it kind of just throws you into it, and it's like, good luck with the UI system. It's easier on controller, keyboard and mouse, it's a bit more difficult. Especially, and the dialogue I think is a little bit cheap, especially when Clementine's running away from that group of people after they kill Christa. I thought it was completely stupid the way the guy just keeps saying like the same sentence like 3 or 4 times during it and then finally dies. I thought that was really dumb. But besides that, I think it's an 8. The story is getting somewhere. I kind of like it, but there's some mistakes that I can't willing to accept, because it's like episode 1 of Season 1 was really good, and I don't feel like this one reached that peak. I do like seeing Clem, but it didn't reach the peak that I had with Lee. Episode 2. This is actually another episode I think that's kind of the same way as episode 1. I kind of like the fact that we start out, like, you get to help Pete, but he pretty much gives up on his own. which is kind of sad, but he's willing to sacrifice himself to make sure Clem survives. You get introduced to Carver, but I don't know why they did it the way they did. It's kind of like, because I think they originally were gonna have Troy be Carver, if I remember right. Because if you remember seeing back in episode 1, the cutscene, you see Troy, not Carver, go into the door, so they changed some aspects. Things that I don't like with this episode. Well, things I do like, I should probably start with, is like, at least story-wise, you kind of get to introduce to Carver. I don't know how much of an impact taking the picture does, because I don't know what would happen if Carver doesn't see it. Besides that, again, we get issues with like Rebecca getting mad and the group getting mad at Clem. It's like Carlos is again too protective, and they make him off too naive. I think at this point he has to have learned that keeping Sarah the way she is isn't going to help anybody. Other things, being able to go on the bridge. The bridge is actually kind of cool. I liked having that little aspect with it, because it made you try to think outside the box. But the fact that you don't get an option with Matthew is something I didn't like. Like, immediately Nick comes up behind to cause this issue for no apparent reason. Oh, he had the gun drawn on you. He had the like they make it seem like Nick has like lost his common sense. The guy's not aiming his gun at you. Is not aiming his gun at you guys when he first starts up. He doesn't aim his gun until he sees Nick raise his gun. So obviously, whatever Nick's seeing and thinking, like, I know they're supposed to have him emotionally like distraught at this time for losing Pete, but I don't think he's that stupid. And that's the other thing I didn't like. When we get to the lodge, it's really cool being able to see Kenny again. I do remember when I originally seen that cutscene back in episode 1 when they showed it at the end. I originally thought they were just gonna have Christa there. But as soon as I see like the jacket and stuff, I went, wait a minute, they're not doing what I think they're doing, and it's Kenny. And I love seeing Kenny again. The only thing I don't like with it is the fact that they don't explain at all how he got away from all those walkers in the alley. Like the television show for Walking Dead had a better way of getting Glenn to survive when he's with that other guy on a trash bin, and the guy shoots his head off. And then Glenn lands underneath him and they're tearing that guy apart. And then Glenn goes and hides underneath the dumpster, they take care of the walkers, do their thing, and then they leave. That's what I said I don't like. It's the fact that you get into this, Kenny's in a freaking alleyway with no way to get away. How to get out? Walkers on both ends. Maybe they're more focused on Ben, but Kenny shot Ben, which means when he shot him, Ben quit making noises. So unless the walkers are really stupid and they're just going to focus on the dead corpse, the movement, the noise Kenny's making is what they're going to focus on. The other thing is I don't know how Christa and Omid didn't see Kenny get away. So, because like they look down the alleyway, oh, we couldn't see anything. It's like, I literally can see everything. How didn't you see Kenny get away? And as much as I liked seeing Kenny, I can't agree with Telltale having him come back. It'd been better if they just put Christa there. Do I like seeing Kenny? 110%. I love seeing Kenny again. Getting inside the lodge is actually another cool thing. I kind of like the aspects with that. Everybody's really friendly there. Walter's a little bit too friendly though. They must not have ran into too many bad groups. But my thing is like, Matthew's sitting down near the bridge, right? So he sees these people come in. So why are these two so trustworthy at groups? They had to have ran into people that were not as good as they were. People had to have seen the lodge and went up there and saw it. Like, I mean, are you telling me Walter and Matthew literally boarded up the whole thing and there was no other people there at the lodge at the time? It just seems really weird. On the other hand, it wasn't winter time, so maybe that's where they can get the excuse in at. So it was like an off season for those two. I could see where that comes in, but there has to be more than 2 people working there, so it makes me question that. And the fact that like no bad groups came in there and like stole all their crap and killed them because they're too freaking nice. What else? The fact that Walter like gets triggered and like goes like full like I'm about to kill Nick, and then he's just like friendly with him again after that. I don't know if he could change it that quick. That's really weird to me. other thing I don't like is the fact that everybody shoots their guns by aiming at their hip. You figure these guys have been fighting for this long, they know not to waste ammo. Why are they aiming their firearms like that? That's stupid, and I don't like the fact like for shock value it looks cool, just everybody starts spraying their guns, but it's like it makes no sense. Dialogue with everybody seems it's pretty much the same as every other Telltale, and it's not that hard to play this one. I just wish they would have had a better explanation when they're like having me use the stupid UI system, which is they point out where I'm supposed to click at. Because I had an issue with one of the walkers on the bridge, and it didn't indicate. I like put it everywhere, and it didn't tell me until the second time where to aim at. And I was like, are you kidding me? So that's another issue I have. And I also really like the fact that like you can get Kenny to surrender, but they don't explain where Luke went. Like he's with Kenny, why would Luke run off without Kenny? Like it makes zero sense. So if I had to rate this, I think I'm gonna rate it probably the same way I rated episode 2 of the other Walking Dead game. It's a 7. I think they went back one. I don't think they did as well as they could have. Story-wise, the fact that Carver comes up to this place with nobody helping him. Oh, he wasn't expecting to find us. It's just like, then why is he searching for you? It makes no sense. The UI is another issue. It takes a point off just because of something stupid like that. The fact they brought Kenny, as much as I like Kenny and I want to give him a point just because I get to see Kenny, it's the fact that it hurts season 1 because it makes no sense that he's alive at this point. Same thing goes if he doesn't stay to save men. He literally goes inside a building that is just filled to the brim with walkers, and he just escapes. How? How do you get out of that, Kenny? It's impossible. Unless you jump out of a freaking window, but we're gonna hear it. Like, it makes no sense. And I just hate that. It's so stupid. I mean, as much as I like Kenny, that hurts the story. If maybe season 1 didn't end up the way it did in episode 5, maybe it happens another way. I could probably agree with it. But you gave him 2 situations where it's almost impossible for him, like 99.9% chance to an infinity that he will not get out of this, and he got out of it. It's stupid. What else? I think that's about it. The thing with Matthew also, I think, hits a point off, and then otherwise, I liked where it went. It was kind of cool being like hostages in that situation at the end, where Kenny's like shooting at him, and you have this choice to save Alvin, and then Carver, knowing that you were probably a good thing to use, he sits there and uses you to get him to come back in and surrender. So I like that aspect. It's pretty cool. Besides that, let's get into episode 3. Episode 3, I kind of like the idea of being inside that that market, or that that marketplace, that big department store. It's real, or grocery store I should probably say. It's really cool. I like the idea of being able to board up the area. Like, the system makes sense, but there's some things that go on that you don't actually get to see. Like, I get to see all the 400 Days characters, but there's no real explanation as to why we went from, like, the one black chick, I think her name's Tavia, like, she was really freaking friendly and everything, and she gets this whole group of people to get together and brings them back. Like, how did all these people turn into these, like, heartless assholes when they were so friendly when it first started? Like, maybe it's just because of the walkers, maybe it's Carver doing the things that he's done, maybe everybody's just accepting it to try to survive. But it's like Russell and Wyatt, they're both looking for they're looking for people to help them, and they're really friendly. They're looking for their friends. They never found them, so why are they still there? Vince, he went from being this like somewhat really friendly guy at the end of the episode to a complete, like, he seems like he's just there and he's still being like a good guy. I'm like, why are you here? Some of the things that we're dealing with here, I don't think you'd be a part of. Who else? Bonnie, I like the fact that we get to see more of Bonnie, but I'm like, she's really friendly, and I don't get how she's this naive, and it's stupid. Besides that, you don't really get to see Shell or Becca. I don't even know what goes on. Like, if you choose Jane at the end of episode 5, you go back there, they're all gone. So I don't know what happened to anybody. It's like, well, what was the point of 400 Days in season 1 if there's nothing that goes on with those characters any further? But if we're going through the whole episode, I kind of like the fact that we start out in the back of the truck. I think it's really stupid the fact that Kenny's already trying to escape when he knows there's no way out. Like, I think at this point, if this is Kenny, he's experienced in this enough to know that there's nothing he can do. I'm not surprised they're even making him do anything. It's like they literally all have assault rifles. They're gonna kill you. You can't do anything, Kenny. The thing with Reggie, I don't like the fact that there's nothing you can really do for him. They just kill him off. Because I did it before where like I was walking around like touching things, and they would get mad at Reggie. And then you go to the greenhouse, and all of a sudden they still kill Reggie. And it's not even really anybody's fault. It's just the fact that everybody's at this point knows how Sarah's acting. Like she needs more motivation. She needs her dad to help her to keep her going. And Reggie didn't stay there to help her. Clem goes over to help her, and then Carver warns her, saying, "Hey, it's your work. You do your work, not her work." It's like, but you have to show somebody how to do things, which can take some time, whether you like it or not. You have to show it to them, because it's like throwing like somebody on watch and just saying, "Just stand up here, and if you see something, tell us." It's like, what am I looking for? Just stand up there and watch. But what am I looking for? Just stand up there and watch. Okay. Like you're not telling me what to do. Other things with the episode. I like the fact that you get introduced to Jane and Mike. I like both of their characters, at least in episode 3 I do. It's cool seeing them. They start working together with you after Reggie dies. I hate the fact that they have Mike and Kenny outside working on the wall, and they have Clem go out there and get introduced to them. It's literally like, wait a minute, you're telling me that you guys have this outer shell wall that's sitting there that's not holding up, and you're making people go out there and work on things with no help. You're idiots. This whole scheme makes no sense. I think Carver's not that dumb to do this. And I especially think that Troy's not dumb enough to do this, because even though he's an asshole, I don't think he's that stupid. Which is another issue. The fact that you get the radio, Luke gets captured. Oh, how did Luke get the... Because Clem took both radios, right? She took both of them. There were 2 radios. And the goal was to get, to be Clem and get the radio to Luke. Well, what happened to the other radio? Who had it? Because somebody had to have had it. Where'd they hide it at? Because Carver had it in his hand. So it makes me wonder who was back at the base and left the radio somewhere. It's like, where was it at? Was it just left out in the open? They put it in an obvious spot and didn't think about hiding it. But then they don't think Clem's the one that has it. Like, literally, Troy grabs Clem by the back of the neck while she's in that room where it's obvious that somebody was where she's supposed to be is not there. And Troy couldn't think that maybe she was the one that has the radio and is going to meet up with Luke. He doesn't say anything. Carver, I can make the assumption, doesn't know too much about it. He just knows what maybe getting told what Clem's been doing, but other than that, it doesn't make any sense. Besides that, I like the fact that they bring in the walkers, they use the noise and stuff, they introduce us going back to like using the walker guts and everything to like conceal yourself and sneak through the herd. That's cool. But the fact that they have Jane in here and she has something going on with Troy and nothing ever occurs with it, like there's no introduction or any idea of what the hell's going on between those two. Like there isn't, like, was Jane doing this off on the side? We didn't hear too much about it. What was going on there? We never got introduced to it, so it's still another weird one. The fact they kill Carlos off is kind of a shock value, because I was like, wow, they killed Carlos, and then Sarah runs off to oblivion. The only thing I don't like is the Sarita thing, which is Kenny gets mad at you no matter what. Either you kill the walker, which saves Sarita's life, she's dead, or you cut her arm off and she gets grabbed by like a whole group of walkers and then she gets killed and eaten. And it's because you cut her arm off and she's screaming because it's a huge amount of pain. But Kenny gets mad at you, but no, I'm not going to get into that, it's episode 4. So, again, if I had to rate episode 3, I don't know if, I mean, the dialogue's there. The UI was stupid. The movements in UI is what pissed me off. Because this is the one I was talking about where I'm, like, it says the hold A when I'm trying to get away from all the walkers inside that place. And I held it, but it didn't work because I had to hold it right when Clem's supposed to start moving. Not before, because that wouldn't make any sense. So, there was that, and I think I had another issue with it doing the same thing as well. I don't remember too well. But then the fact they don't imagine in a million years, like, they would have a plan to get out. It's like you literally just found this radio on them. You think they're just going to give up? Why isn't somebody watching this group of people? You have to know they're planning something. So again, I'd probably rate episode 3 another 7. It has value there. It's cool. It's a good episode, but it isn't as good as episode 1. I still feel like episode 1's still the strongest one out of between episode 2 and 3. There's certain things that like Clem getting hit when trying to go to help Kenny. That's like, holy crap, you just hit Clem. I'm gonna kill you, Troy. But there's not enough there to really strike me to like. Then, and the thing with Sarita doesn't have any matter at all. Kenny, like when we get in episode 4, Kenny's pissed at Clem anyway. Literally, Clem can't do anything to help Sarita. We all took off on our own little accords, and we were with Carlos and Sarah. Sarita was off on her lonesome, and she got attacked. So she didn't do something she was supposed to be doing, and Kenny blames Clem for it all. Like, if you cut her arm off, maybe I can sit there and see why, or like up to her wrist off, I can see why Kenny's pissed. You did something that ended up getting her killed by the walkers. But you killed the walker that attacked her, and he at least got to say goodbye. You didn't get that option with Cat and Duck nearly as much. So it's like, again, I don't like the fact that they have it set for that. So that alone gets a -1 for me, because I just hate the fact Kenny just blames Clem for something she was not able to control. That's stupid. Other things I like with this episode, I like the fact that they get you with Jane. She kind of introduces you a way to fight the walkers. That's pretty cool. I like that. You learn a new method. I hate the thing with Sarah. I don't like the fact that you have a choice of either saving her inside the trailer or letting her die, because it doesn't matter. She kind of learns a little bit after that, but she ends up getting killed anyway, so it's like there's no point in it. I like the fact you can go either with Bonnie and Mike, or you can go with Jane. If you go with Jane, it pretty much runs the exact same way. I think you just kill like maybe 1 or 2 walkers, and that's it. So it's really the only difference. So I always go with Mike and Bonnie just because it's more fun, because you get to kind of do that stuff as well. I think you might end up still having to do it anyway. I actually don't remember. If you go with Jane, I think you still... No, I don't know. I'd have to look at that. I think either way you're still stuck doing it. You might be able to do it in a different order. But the thing with the water, I don't really like that much. Like, we go into that place where there's 2 things of water to get, and it's like, yeah, let's go get the water, but nobody questions the fact there might be a walker back there. How don't you know there's a walker back there? Literally start like making noise or something, like a little bit of noise, see if there's anything there, prod it, see if there's something stuck behind there. That's what I would be doing. So, I mean, that alone takes off a point, and then I think to include the point is the fact that whenever the walkers come into camp, nobody sees it. Luke was responsible for it, I get that, but it's the fact that the water makes no sense. You get 2 giant jugs of it, 3 to probably 5-gallon jugs. Mike picks up 1, leaves the second one there. So it absolutely has no pertainable value for what's going on. And then when he goes, he leaves it downstairs with a door wide open where the walkers can get in at. So I'm assuming whenever the guys leave, they use the same way Jane gets out to go down the stairs. But the shutter's shut. But think of it from this perspective. If that door's open down there, why aren't the walkers flooding through there? So again, they have another way the walkers can get in. Maybe they're trying to say the walkers won't go in there because they're all following each other and they're going up the stairs, but it makes no sense because it's like, why are they all going up the stairs? They could literally pile in another door. They've seen Mike go there. There's nothing stopping it from them unless they're all just stuck following each other. So it's another thing I don't like. The thing with the cannon moving and then it's causing the deck to collapse, it's a nice add-on, but my thing is that cannon's sitting there. Why does now the damn deck decides to fall? Because it's getting moved. I mean, maybe it's a weak section. It's been 2 years. But it's like if the cannon's been there at the same spot the entire time, why is it now because it's moving? That's the cause of it. So it makes me curious on that aspect. The fact you can either send Jane down to try to help Sarah or just have her come up also doesn't make much sense to me. Because she tries to help Sarah out as best she can, then gets hit in the head, but she doesn't have enough problems going on with getting hit in the head to just find her way back up, and they kill Sarah pretty much off real quick. The stuff with like the baby and everything's other things that are weird to me because it's like Jane just decides to leave, goes downstairs again, assuming she walked out the same door that Mike put the damn water jug out. Why are there no walkers down there coming up? The thing with Rebecca, she dies no matter what. She either dies, trying to think. She'll die if you go too soon and there's snow everywhere, which I agree with Kenny. We got to keep moving to get out of the cold. If you wait a few days, the freaking snow's still there anyway, and all they complain about is it's a little bit worse, and Rebecca still dies. The thing with Arvo, I'm not a big fan of either, because it's like, you didn't steal anything from him besides a gun. He kept all his medical supplies, so how are they calling you guys a thief? He got his stuff. It doesn't make any sense. There's like an unneeded conflict to cause episode 4's ending, which makes no freaking sense. You didn't steal anything besides a gun, and even then it was Jane. So if she's not there and you tell her, it's like, she left our group. She left. She wasn't even a member of our group. And they just immediately start speaking Russian. None of them are speaking freaking English. Like, why are these people speaking Russian? Why are there Russians here? Like, what are these guys supposed to be doing? Like, there was no explanation as to why they're there, and you never learn about it. So to be honest, I'd have to say episode 4 deserves a 6. I like the episode for what it's worth, but there's so many issues with it that I don't like. The fact that there's like things going on, like I'm taking points away just for like plot holes that are kicking in there, like decisions people are making, like 2 jugs of water. Now we're only going to need 1. I'm putting it downstairs. The door's not shut. Walkers can come up. Nobody's thinking about this stuff, so I didn't like that. But I will say this: episode 5 kind of revives it for me. They bring it back strong. This is between all the episodes, I like this one the most. Pretty heavily so. The thing I like is the fact you get introduced immediately. Everybody's shooting each other, and that's the one thing I don't like. Everybody's firing their guns off at the beginning, which Clem dives to the ground while having a firearm, by the way. And you have a Russian with an AK. You don't see what happens to Natasha, or whatever the hell her name is with Arvo. You just know she gets shot in the heart. I don't know who does it. There's also the issue with the other guy, like, I'm assuming he got shot in the leg and he's sitting down holding a shotgun in one hand and he's somehow able to hold it and keep, I don't know if it's supposed to be an auto shotgun or a pump shotgun, but if it's supposed to be a pump, that's really stupid because he's literally one-shotting it with a freaking hand, with one arm, which I don't see any human being being able to do that because that freaking shotgun's going to have a kick to it and there's no way one arm's going to hold on to it. If he had a pistol, maybe I agree. But no way is he holding a shotgun one-handed. The other thing I don't like with the episode when it starts out, and I think it'll take a point away just for that, which is that whole firefight scene, which is Arvo's sitting there trying to save his sister, what I'm assuming is his sister. And the guy's to the left of Kenny, while Kenny's hiding behind a tree, shooting at his buddy behind a rock. Why isn't the guy with the shotgun shooting Kenny? Why is he aiming at all of us at the group? And then it's so much further into it, eventually Kenny shoots him in the head and kills him, which makes almost no sense. The other thing, Arvo holds a huge grudge against Clementine for no reason. Like it's from episode 4. I'm like, why are you mad at Clem? She didn't take your supplies. It was Jane. Most of your anger should go to Jane. He shot and killed Natasha, but she came back as a walker. You can't get mad at Clem for shooting a walker. Otherwise, it goes up, kills her and baby Alvin. You can't get mad at him for that, Arvo. And other thing is, eventually Jane comes back and she throws a knife at the back of the guy's neck and kills him. And they drown it on for so long like it matters. It's like, one, you stabbed him in the back of the neck, so he's lost all... His nervous system isn't working for anything below that neckline. Like, it's literally a dead center hit. Like, he is not able to move his lower body at this point. If he is, I don't know what you hit in that neck, but you did not do your job. Luke getting shot, I could see that happening because his character's the way that they designed it. He's gonna be thinking more about trying to get in position and try to fight instead of being smart and more conservative in a firefight. I like seeing the group like going forward. Like, you get to spend some time with Kenny helping him clean his eye out, or cleaning his eye because it's still wounded. It's something people should be thinking about. And then just like the movement, then you get to that little camp area. It's nice to sit there. It's a nice addition. I like the fact everybody gets together and spend a nice quiet night together. Everybody can be friendly for once. But then I hate the thing with the, like, when we get to the house. I get the reason why they have Luke die, but there's certain things I don't like with it. Like, there's no way to actually help him. Which I think would take half a point off from me. Half a point. The other half is going to continue because of Arvo. After that, which is, and everything that goes on, which is, Clem can either go out and save, try to help him, and he falls down anyway, but he dies saving Clem by getting dragged down by a walker that he doesn't even try to fight off when it happens, so he's like not kicking it or anything. So I don't like that. If you don't choose to help him, Bonnie goes over there to try to save his dumb ass, which she fails to do, because, as I said, their best bet was literally just standing their ground and shooting all the walkers. The ice was going to break. We already knew it was. If you just give Luke some time, he could probably get himself out. Because if you don't do it and you sit there and cover him, what ends up happening is he falls under the water. He ends up somewhere near Clem. Clem tries to break the glass. It never breaks. Eventually it does when you shoot, but again, Luke ends up dying. Clem gets pulled out. And Bonnie's pissed at her because you didn't risk your life to try to save him when the ice was going to break and kill you, maybe. It's like, it's stupid. The thing with, like, Kenny getting angry all the time, I get that. The thing with Bonnie and everything, and Mike, like, I can see why Kenny's getting pissed, but it's like, they make him get angry for certain reasons that don't make any sense to me. Like, he gets pissed at Arvo because Arvo walked off ahead and there's no supplies, but Kenny doesn't even give him any time to search the house to see if there was supplies. I don't think Kenny's going to use it, like, he's not going to be reacting like that too much. Especially after season 1, we've seen how he was. Like, yeah, he could get set off, but I don't see him getting set off that quick. The other half point I'd have to take off is the fact that you end up getting an issue with Bonnie, Mike, and Arvo all leaving. You don't even have a gun in your hand, and Arvo shoots Clem in the shoulder. That made 0 sense. I hated that. I thought it was stupid. The interaction with that was horrible. The fact that Mike and Bonnie choose Arvo and Arvo did that. The fact that they still side with him after he shoots Clem for doing absolutely nothing to him, because again, episode 4, I didn't steal his meds. Episode 5, I didn't shoot his sister for as far as I'm concerned. I shot her when she turned into a walker, so you can't get mad at me. I defended Arvo a couple times when Kenny's beating the crap out of him. He's still angry at you for no reason at all, and it makes 0 freaking sense. And I can't comprehend where they're getting that at. So that's another thing. It makes no point in being nice to Arvo. There's no point, because it does not matter. The only people that are going to get an opinion of it are Mike and Bonnie. And they still leave Clem after she gets shot, which is horrible. Then they bring in the conflict between Jane and Kenny. Like, Jane's like, oh, he's going to get set off and all this stuff over stupid stuff and everything. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You were literally telling me that Kenny is a loose cannon like Carver, but you keep antagonizing him to go off on you. Especially in the truck, she just starts screaming at him for no reason. It's like, you're not improving your situation, because you're acting just like him. Except you're trying to act like you have a higher moral ground after, like, everything Kenny's been through. Especially after the group betrays him, and they basically say, well, let's wait until morning to make a decision on this instead of leaving then. And he agrees to it, and then they betray him. So don't you think he's going to be acting a little bit pissed off because the people he's supposedly supposed to trust betrays him? So, I mean, that takes another point off for me, and makes it down to a 7. The fight at the end between Kenny and Jane, I get the reasons why, but again, I don't see Jane's reasoning of hiding Alvin Jr. inside the car. Again, she's purposely trying to set him off for no good reason, and it does not bring her case that strong, so I don't really like her because of that. That's why I usually side with Kenny. But I say this, the thing that gets a point back, and it is a point because I loved it, is the ending between getting the Wellington. The way they have Kenny react, the way he responds, everything there with that is strong, and I love it. I love the scene. I like the fact that Kenny's like so desperate he's just trying to save Clem and AJ. Um, it's I could see Kenny's character doing that. That makes 100% sense to me. He's not worried about himself. He's more worried about those two trying to get the safety, and he's willing to risk his own life out in the wilderness while Clem and AJ get the safety. But I choose to stay with Kenny because I couldn't imagine Clem abandoning him. Like, they're a very close group, and if you don't choose to go with Kenny, he ends up, you never see him again. So the assumption is he dies somewhere, but you never see his character again. There's no cutscene with him, no nothing. So it's really sad if you don't see him anymore. Like, you don't get anything. And the other thing is compared to season 1, they never made an extra DLC, an extra episode, a special episode, which was pretty boring. I wish they would have did that, because, see, that would have been the thing that would have been pretty freaking cool. Because let's say you side with Kenny, or you side with Jane, and you leave them and Clem goes off on her own. That'd be kind of cool if that was a special episode. Like, for players who choose that decision, because maybe you choose one of them, and you decide to stay at the place you're at. Like, let's say we get the Wellington. Like, you can play as Kenny, and if you can keep him alive for the rest of that episode, maybe you get to see him in the season 3. Maybe if you choose to be with Jane, or maybe if you play with Jane, if you choose to leave her after everything. Actually, give me 1 second. Feel better now. Like, let's say you choose to leave Jane, maybe you play her in, like, a special episode, and then you get to go and, like, continue the game on after that. That would have been, like, cool little neat things. That, or maybe, you could play as Kenny and see up to the point where Sarita finds him, or, maybe see, like, from Carver's point of view, everything he was going through. Maybe see some of the 400 day survivors going through their own little thing for a little bit. You get to play as them. It'd be pretty cool. It'd been nice. But they didn't do that, and it kind of disappointed me. But I would say that they gave me a lot of reasons to like this episode more than episode 4, pretty much all the other ones. I'd give it a strong 8. Because they brought it back with that ending with Kenny. Because I like that ending. It's sad as all hell. So as I said, I think I said 8, 7, 7, 6, 8. So if I had to give it an average, it's a 7. I'd say for the game as a whole for season 2, it's not nearly as good as season 1. I find this one to be slightly weaker. For story-wise, I love seeing Clem. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing her. I like playing as her because it's something different. I get to see everything from her point of view compared to from the adult's point of view. It's really cool seeing what like the decisions you can make, and it's cool because it's like you got to play as Lee the whole time in season 1, and now you get to finally play as the character you pretty much were raising during that period of time and see what goes on with her. And it's really cool. I like the concept of it. It's really freaking neat. But again, as I said, the only issue I have is with the story itself. I don't like it 100% as I like Season 1. Season 1 has, I think, higher levels compared to this. And all of the episodes pretty much run the exact same length, which is kind of weird. Like, if you, like, Season 1 can be, like, it varies. Like, Episode 1 is, I think I got in 3 or 4, I have at least 3 to 4 episodes of it. So you're saying 3 to 4 episodes. That is including at least 2 hours worth of gameplay for Episode 1. Episode 2, I think, was another 3 or 4 episodes. Episode 3, I think I got 3 out of it, if I remember correctly. Maybe 4 at most. Episode 4, though, I think I got like 5 or 6. I'd have to definitely double check with that, but I know I had a fair bit of that. I have a lot of episodes at it. Very minimum of 4 again. And then Episode 5 kind of runs the same way as like Episode maybe 1. It's long, but not that long. These ones all pretty much are the same length. Like, I got most of these episodes done within hour and a half. Like, it doesn't feel that long to me, unless I drive it to be longer. Like, this is going to be a really long, like, extended 2 episodes for episode 5, but that's because I'm giving my ideas off on most of this stuff. So I'll have to make a decision on how I end it. I either make this one really long episode, or I cut it into pieces. Which, if I cut it into pieces, the first episode might be 25-26 minutes, with this one being longer, just so I can get all my thoughts off, so you guys get to see more content. But I'll have to make a decision on that point. But as I said, if I had to rate this season, it's a 7. I like season 1 more. Season 1 has its issues with its own like UI system and like grabbing things and stuff, but I find it to be more fun, more story driven wise than this one. I think that's what started hurting Telltale a little bit, which was the episodes didn't feel, the stories didn't feel as good. This one's okay, but it's not season 1 levels. There's not enough here to drive me to understand the reasonings behind most of these characters' decisions for why the hell they act the way they do, and it's so boring because of that, and I don't find it to be that fun. So, as I was saying, I apologize if this episode seems very long, but I feel like I had to get all my words and all my ideas off on this, because this episode, the season 2 is one I like, but it's because of Clem, but past Clem, I don't know. The story just isn't. There's not enough story here that I like. Season 1 has the best. Until we get to season 3 and season 4. Again, I'd have to replay season 3 to really get my ideas and have a feeling for what it feels like. Season 4, I never played all of it. I did see gameplay for it, but it was a fair bit ago, so I'd have to play it myself to really get my own opinion on it. So, as I always say, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go see if Clem is learning Rusky or if we're gonna keep speaking English. So we're gonna go see that next. It is season 3. See you guys then. Thanks.